Dan. Come on up. Dan Phegley comes from a quiet little village in the suburbs where very little happens politically. It's a biblical little town. They call it Damascus. And Dan's here to tell us another story from Damascus. Actually, to get a little peace, I decided to go to the Crimea. And, you know, Damascus came into existence with a home rule charter. Oh, great, you got that up. There's a lot of people that say Metro didn't plan Damascus. Right here is the lead frame Oregon Field Guide from OPB, Metro Special, Creating a City. I can't read the bottom line, but it tells all about creating Damascus. We have the video. But at any rate, we came into existence with a home rule charter. And we were the first completely, there we go, witness the creation of a city, Damascus, by the Metropolitan Regional Planning Agency. We were created with a home rule charter, and we're the first city completely planned all by Metro. Over the last 8 years, with your help and Don McIntyre, Ask Damascus started passing a Bill of Rights for Damascus citizens. In March of 2008, we passed a compensation of property owners for devaluing property. We got 67% of the vote. Then, no new taxes or charges or fees without a vote of the people. That got 70% of the vote. Then, the city can't condemn property and transfer it to their friends. That collected 76% of the vote. Then there was a movement to restrict the initiative process. Ask Damascus fought that and reduced those restrictions, got rid of them actually, and passed a law that no further changes to the initiative can happen without using the initiative. That took care of that. The result of all of this was Metro, LCDC, and the Oregonian calling Damascus was now dysfunctional. So, then on May 17th, we got to vote on Metro's plan. We passed that by initiative to vote on the plan. That plan, multi-billion-dollar cost, was rejected by 65% of the voters. At that point, we got the interest of 2 universities. The Portland State School of Government did a study on the planning of Damascus. Let me give you a few quotes. There's a lot of them. The retreat of the process and project staff into the bowels of the expert agencies contradicts a key feature of consensus building: transparency. And then, quote, the November 8 meeting was organized in a manner that continued to restrict communication. When the public attends a meeting and dialogue is still prevented, the message is clear. The University of Oregon and Arizona professors authored a college textbook, Planning Paradise. And this is about land use planning. They had, in chapter 6, they did an investigation of Damascus. And they came up with some very interesting quotes. Among them, the total estimated infrastructure cost to meet Metro's goals for Damascus stood at a staggering $15.8 billion for 12,000 people, and that was back in 2004. And then The Metro government that enacted the expansion policy for Damascus seemed to be simply following rules rather than pursuing a vision or even sound policy. Another one, the public outreach efforts were almost shocking in their apparent lack of professionalism and sincerity. And finally, when Metro headed into Damascus, where were the voices willing to say that law or no law, bad policy is bad policy?
Hear, hear.
All the dysfunction, all the dishonesty was laid to Metro and LCDC. Not one claim against the city or its citizens. In March of 2012, we passed another measure requiring voter approval and disclosure of cost and effects of any city plan before we submit it to the state or Metro. Metro supporters were now shrieking, all this voting in Damascus, why it's dysfunctional. Then, November 6th of 2012, in the election, we passed spending limits for the city. That gained 65% of the vote, and this is the last straw. LCDC and Metro now deny development permits unless Damascus adopts their plan. So then, we come to House Bill 4029. It declares Damascus a threat to the public peace, health, and safety, and an emergency is declared to exist. And this bill allows, if property owners will only withdraw from Damascus and annex to another city, development restrictions will be lifted. And the process is expedited, and that's not all. They will prohibit Damascus from complaining about it. We have no voice now. The bill had the House committee hearing and vote before even the city council became aware of its existence. The goal? End the Damascus Home Rule Charter and its citizen-approved Bill of Rights. House Bill 4029, and you've got it on your tables there, is called the Euthanasia of Damascus City Charter, was pushed by Bill Kennemer and approved by every one of the 4 Republican senators here tonight. Virtually every Republican House member and senator voted to euthanize the Damascus City Charter. That's where we stand today. Thank you.
Okay, we'll probably address that in some question and answer stuff later, will we not? And